go all the way from Australia. So if you guys don't know, he posted on Instagram that he was going to come back to the future. So here where I'm at in Florida, it's Wednesday, and where you're at, it's on Thursday. So we're time traveling. So
Yeah, a bit of time travel. It's Thursday morning, so I've just done the parcels and everything, ready to send off. So, but yeah, my name's Brad. I'm also known as Judder. My channel, Diary of a Flipper. I am a full-time reseller. I've been full-time since September of last year. I was made redundant due to COVID in my full-time job. I was a printer, so I used to print newspapers, and I was doing this as a side hustle, making videos and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we got shut down, so I got a bit of a payout, and I thought, well, now's the best time to go full time and give this a crack. And it was a bit of a lifestyle shift for me because I used to be doing the 12-hour night shifts, so I didn't get a lot. Every second weekend I was doing the night shifts and all that, 12 hours, and I was missing out on some important family time. I'm a dad. I've got a young son. He's almost 3, and the night shift was starting to actually cook me physically and mentally as well. So it came at a perfect time for me. So now I'm just living the dream, as you'd say. I go around treasure hunting, find things that I like. I put them on eBay and sell them and make a bit of money. So it's basically where I'm at. Now, well, I drop the videos too. Put it all on video and just have a bit of fun with that.
okay, awesome. So how long were you at your job before you left, and how has that transition been? Because for a long time, about 10 years, I was working in a factory, and I would go into work at like 4 o'clock at night, and then I would get off at like 4:30 in the morning. So I understand working that night shift grind, but you have a family, you have a son that you have to take care of. So it's not just you. It's not like you could just go home and, do your 12-hour shift and get your 8 hours of sleep, because there's only 24 hours in a day. So if you work 12 hours, you sleep 8 hours, your commute back and forth to work, let's say that's a half hour, you got a half-hour lunch break, and you have maybe 3-4 hours of downtime to do what you want to do. So how have you adjusted from leaving the corporate world to kind of now being a full-time reseller? How was that adjustment for you?
Yeah, it was great. It was more my body switch was the killer because, well, to answer the first question, I'd been there 7 years. So prior to that, I've only ever had 2 other jobs. I was in another job for 10 years, and then I moved to here, and I was there for about just shy of 7 years. And I struggled towards the end with sleeping, so it got really hard with the night shifts. I'd sort of get into these patterns, and then I'd struggle to sleep through the day when I was supposed to be, well, essentially awake. It's just an absolute killer. I just can't stand night shift anymore. But changing over, that was the killer. I was trying to get back into like a normal human being because, as you'd know, you've done the shifts. Swinging over is just really, really tricky. And for me, that was the biggest battle. But now it's just kind of a matter of, time management. So back then I was pretty fortunate with that job. We knew we were closing for a while and there was a lot of downtime, and I'm talking a lot of downtime. Most of our print would finish around 11 p.m., 12 p.m., and we'd have to sit around till about 7 a.m. And there wasn't a lot to do and no one really cared what you did. So I actually got a lot of time for eBay then. So I could, list while I was at work through the night. That was the bonus. If I had my photos done through the day, I could sort of get paid for 2 jobs at once. So it was a bonus. But now just that transition is, I've got to, I get really sort of engaged in what I'm doing, and I get really focused and I get really keen. And I've just got to remember why I'm full-time now. And that's for the family. That's so I can spend more time with the family. And I can't focus too much on eBay, especially, or even the YouTube side of things, the social media, because I want to be around my son as much as possible. We only live once, he's coming up 3 and that's just going like that. And, I want to spend as much time as possible with him. And sometimes I just get that addicted and engaged in what I'm doing. Think, well, I'm actually doing this full time so I can enjoy that lifestyle. So I've just got to sometimes pull up, go, hang on, put the phone down, put the tape measure down, put the light box down, and go and enjoy your life for a bit, because that's just what it's all about for me now. And I was fortunate in the sense that I did get a very good redundancy, so I'm in a much different situation to a lot of people that just go full time. So I had sort of the financial backing behind me to give this a go, but now it's just a matter of enjoying life and loving what I do.
Right. So you're at your job 7 years. All of a sudden they had this lockdown, this shutdown, and you kind of knew that you were going to be locked down, but you were kind of expecting you were going to go back to work. They gave you a severance package to leave your job. So it wasn't like you left there voluntarily. And then you were just like, hey, let me go do this reselling thing full time. see if I could spend more time with my family and still be able to make a living. So how long have you been reselling, and what got you started into reselling? Like how did that come about?
So I've been reselling as a whole for almost 3 years. And what started that off was actually, I have a big passion for sporting memorabilia and mostly Australian rules football. It's our local game. I love it. I'm a big collector in that sense. And I always sort of had this dream where I'd open a sporting memorabilia store and I'd sell these things that I collect. And, the whole flip one thing, buy two things kind of thing. And you can fund a collection from essentially nothing. And that's where that all started. So for me, it was football jerseys and stuff for our local game. That's where it kind of started for me. And then when I realized I was making some pretty good money from it, I just thought, well, what else can I do? I have other interests, and I love nostalgia and I love vintage. And I was looking into things like that, and I was just doing some research on eBay. These things are selling for this now. I can actually buy this here for X amount of dollars. And things just started, the cogs started going in the head, and, it's just all clicked and come together. And I thought, hang on, this could be something. And that's when I started looking into it a bit more. I found YouTube and I found a few of the Aussie resellers. I started following a few of them guys, and then it just blew up from there. I became obsessed, like your name, EbayAddicts. It is an addiction. And then I just found the thrill just going out and just going through thrift stores, garage sales. It started and just finding those things and going, oh, damn, man, this thing's worth like, $50, and they only want $2 for it, and that's just blown up and blown up. Now it's looking on eBay and finding things that are underpriced and buying them so I can flip them. It's just sort of everything that I look at now. It's just like, well, I want to put that in my own store, make a couple of bucks with it.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. So it's kind of it's kind of a lifestyle change, when you change from working your 12-hour shift now to being self-employed. Yeah, man, I have this thing where when I make a sell on eBay, I instantly want to take my money and reinvest it back into something. I sold these swimming pool floaty things the other day on eBay, and I got them at the Dollar Tree for $1 a piece. Some guy bought two of them for $20. So then I went and took my $20 and I went back to the dollar store and bought like 20 Blu-rays that I could go home and list them on eBay. Because I'm like, even if I just sell them for $10-15 a piece times 20 of them, that's like $200 worth of merchandise for $20 that this guy just gave me the $20. So it's kind of like you're playing house money. It's almost like, you ever been to the gas station and you're waiting in line behind this guy and he's cashing in his lottery tickets and he's using his lottery tickets to buy more lottery tickets? That's how I feel sometimes. I feel like I'm that guy and I'm like, hey, I hear I sold this item on eBay and I'm taking my winnings from eBay to buy more like lottery tickets, more items to resell on eBay. So that's definitely how I feel sometimes. So 100%. We're live. Let me say hey real quick to Urban Foster is in the chat, says, hey, I can't stay long. I will rewatch later. I just wanted to drop in and show support from my mate, Jada. Is that how you say it? Tell us how you got this name. Where does this name Jada come from?
Yeah, so it's pronounced Jada. My last name's Judd, and Australians, we make a nickname out of anything we can. So if your last name, you chuck a Y on the end or an A on the end, and that's your nickname. And that happens especially with blokes, blokes down here, the fellas, they all cop nicknames. So, your last name's Smith, you get called Smithy. Down here, if you got red hair, you get called Bluey. It's just, it's just everyone cops a nickname down here, just about.
Okay, awesome. Wanted to say hey to Nakoma Fines is in the chat, and Don is here. Said to thrill of the hunt and sell, that's what it's all about. And I wanted to say hey to Jazz is here. It says top of the morning. So thank you guys for coming in and hanging out. If you have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat. I got a bunch of questions for you. So talk to me a little bit about what is your day like now? How do you go ahead and structure your day? Like, what is your routine like? Because is your son, you said he's only 3, so he's not in school yet. So how do you go ahead and run your daily routine? Like, you pack and ship all your items and then go sourcing? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've got my day up until about now down pat, 100%. So I get up around 5 a.m. I'm an early morning sort of guy. I love getting up early and sort of starting the day. A big thing that I wanted to do when trying to evolve from that night shift sort of thing is, be that up, get it in the morning, don't snooze the alarm, get up, get into it. You got things to do. And that's kind of, I stick to that now, straight up out of bed, into the cold shower, have a coffee, chill out for a bit, and then into my day. So I'll do that. Then I'll go through. I'll print all. I ship every day, every morning, except for weekends. So I'll get up, whatever orders need to go out that day. I'll pack them all. I'll print my labels, pack them, and have them ready to ship. And then usually by about that time, that's when the little fella, he'll wake up. So my wife, she works for herself too. She's a psychologist. And now, since I'm at home all the time, I've sort of taken on that role, get him ready, get his day started. So sort of 3 days of the week, he will go to childcare. So I'll get him up, get him dressed, get his brekkie into him and take him down and drop him off. Then after that, my parcels are packed. So I can either go and drop them off and then hit up the thrift, go sourcing, or if I've got heaps to do here, which I've always got stock on hand, I'll just come home and list. So sort of after that 9 a.m., it's kind of, I try and structure it a little bit throughout the week, but as a day-to-day, it does change every day. And then Tuesdays, he has Tuesdays off daycare, and I spend the whole day with him. So we get to hang out every Tuesday. It's my favourite day of the week. It's just sort of Dad Sunday. We'll go and hang out somewhere, or we'll just do whatever. We hang out and watch a movie, and that's been the best thing about doing this full-time gig. So Tuesdays, I just hang out with him all day, and then I'll list at night if I need to. So, but yeah, 9 a.m. after that, it kind of changes every day.
Yeah, man, I think people don't have a problem going out sourcing and finding inventory. I think the biggest issue is just trying to come up with a schedule to sit down to get the items listed, because like going sourcing is the fun part, but like sitting down and having like a routine where you could just, like, I'm a night person, so I can just shut my door, turn my music on, get into my zone, and just start cranking out some listings, because that's how you're going to make your money, is getting your items listed. So what is it that like keeps you motivated to list items when you don't feel like it? Because this is your full-time gig, right?
Yep. It's pretty rare I actually drop out of that motivation, but I just think back to being in that job, doing 12 hours for someone else, making someone that already has millions of dollars more money, and sitting there all night without my family around me and all that sort of stuff. I think back to that and I think, do I want to do that again? And the answer is no. So I can either, I can sit down, ass up, and start listing, because that's what's making my money, that's what's paying the bills, that's what's supporting my family, or I can go back and make someone else money. And that goes through my head constantly. If I start getting down, I think I can't be bothered today, I think back to that. I think, well, I'm the happiest I've ever been doing this, so I don't want that to change. And if I'm not listing things, I'm not selling things. If I'm not making money, I'm going back to work for someone else, and I don't want to do that. So that's my main motivator at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. When you've done a factory job, or you've done a job and you've been there for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, and you're just like, bro, I don't want to go back to that again. That'll keep you motivated. And the thing is that, your bills, they don't take a vacation. They don't, they don't care if you're motivated or not. Like, they're still going to come every month. So that's just the way it works. Let me say hello to a few people here we have in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Nakoma Fines is here. Jazz is here. Kevin Reyes is here. He just stopped by. Hollywood Reseller is here. Cheryl, the reseller, is here in the chat. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. I think I saw you. You were on with Derek, Fundamentals of Side Hustling, recently. Kevin says, right on. He says, we have a question from Nakoma. Says, are your OP shops starting to charge eBay prices like at Goodwill thrift stores? So do you have some of the thrift stores where you're located at? Are they starting to gradually raise their prices up a little bit? Do you talk about that?
Yeah, so where I'm located, so I'm considered country. I'm out bush. So when I say that, the city I'm from has a population of about 100,000, which is very small compared to the big cities. And it's pretty good here. We've got, probably 20, we call them op shops and thrift stores, whatever you sort of call them. There's about 20 here, and 17 of them are pretty good still. They're your typical old school country op shops. You're not paying much more than, a few dollars for your items. And I'm very fortunate in that sense. But I did a trip a little while ago into Melbourne, which is a big city in Victoria here. And yeah, the pricing was crazy. And there was a lot of them, for pairs of branded jeans, they're asking $20, $30 dollars Australian, which is what they are essentially listed for on eBay. Some of them aren't even selling for that. So, yeah, they're getting a bit silly in some of that. It's usually the bigger sort of. We have the Salvos and St. Vincent's. It's usually those guys. It's the little church op shops and all that sort of stuff. They're still doing really good, and their prices are still all right. But some of them, yeah, they're getting up there, it makes it tricky.
Yeah, we have a quick question here from Hollywood Reseller. He wants to know, what platforms do you sell on?
We don't have a lot to pick from here, sort of like you guys. We have eBay as the main one, and I'm 90% eBay. That's where most of my stuff goes. I do a little bit on Facebook Marketplace. I'm trying to push more onto Facebook Marketplace at the minute. And I was doing a bit on Depop, but it just wasn't really sort of going that well for me. So I'm cutting Depop out currently. We don't have much else. We have Etsy here, which I've never even looked at. And then there's Poshmark, is pretty new to Australia. I think some people are doing all right on Poshmark, but it won't work for me because they actually use a shipping company that doesn't even come to my town or to my area, so I can't even use them. So that's all we've really got. But, yeah, eBay's the main one for me.
Yeah, I just mainly sell 95% of the stuff on eBay. And if I have bigger, heavier, bulkier items or something I don't want to ship, I'll post it like on OfferUp and try to sell it locally. And, it doesn't sell as quickly, but it'll sell. And, I don't have to pay eBay fees and I don't have to worry about doing shipping. So Jazz is here, says, I'm going to try to schedule a day off every week like Joda. And he's got the balance. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but just one of those things. I think it's because I'm in the States and you're Australia, so there's a little bit of a language barrier here. I apologize.
No, you're not the only one. Pretty much 99% of Americans pronounce that wrong, so that's fine.
I'm not doing it on purpose. That's just how I pronounce it. So Coco is here, says, love that you have Australian or Aussie resellers on. My question for you, will you keep going full-time reseller beyond this first year? How do you see this thing long-term?
Yeah, look, I'm keen to do this forever. I'm loving my job, loving what I'm doing. So I'd love to do this forever. But is it going to be sort of something that I can do forever? I don't know. I mean, like that last question, the thrift stores are getting dearer. So that means you've got to sort of look into other avenues. And something I do a lot of is wholesale. I have a few suppliers now that I buy from. And I'm always kind of looking for that online source. So long term, I think it will be a long-term thing, but it's a matter of if you can adapt. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to grow sort of day by day, week by week. I'm just trying to grow and look at different sort of niches and different ways I can keep this as a long-term thing. So the plan is yes, but you just don't know what's down the track. I mean, your eBay store may get pulled for whatever reason and you might have a couple of months of trying to get it back up. I've seen that happen to people and that just throws everything out. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen, but long-term, that's the plan, but I just don't know what's down the track.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I kind of feel like reselling is like as a stream of income. If you can go ahead and do it right now, you should go ahead and do it because like with eBay, I mean, the reason why I love eBay is if you're like if you're a stay-at-home mom, you can do eBay. You're a college student, you need to make extra money, you can do eBay. You're retired and you're in your 60s and you need to supplement your retirement, you can do eBay. You have a full-time job and you want to do eBay on the side and go to yard sales and estate sales on the weekends, you can make money on eBay. So regardless of what your situation is, as long as you're willing to hustle, there's opportunities there for you. And as far as Aussie resellers on, we had Mel back from Burnout was on about a month ago, and I've reached out to a couple other people, 2 Aussies, a couple of other guys I've tried to reach out to. It's just that our time zones are completely different, so it's kind of difficult to work that out. So we have a question here from Kevin. He wants to know, what is your biggest flip in terms of profit?
My biggest flip is Australian Rules football jumper. I picked up for $60 off Facebook and sold it in about 12 hours for $1,900. So that's my biggest. Other than that, like I've done a caravan, so that's a bit more unique. That was probably a $2,500 profit, but that was kind of, I suppose that's a little bit different as such.
Okay, cool. I wanted to say hey to the ATL Flipper is here. I wanted to say hey to Fernando 2434 Collectibles. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. The Hollywood Reseller says, has the pandemic made sourcing for inventory easier or harder in Australia? So can you talk about that? Because I watched one of your videos and you were saying, hey, even if you're on lockdown, there are still other ways that you can go out and do sourcing and get inventory. So you talked about that for a little bit?
Yeah, as horrible as the pandemic has been, it's one of the best things that happened to my business because it made me look at those other sort of avenues of sourcing. And that's when I started looking and researching really hard into wholesale. And, I found a few suppliers of secondhand vintage clothing, and that's something that I do love to sell. And I've got onto some really good sources now where I can continue doing that. And then it sort of stemmed where I just kept researching and contacting people. And, you can contact 20, 30, 40 people and maybe only one responds, but that one might have so many good things for you, And it's just opened my eyes to so many different things other than just going to the garage sales and going to the op shops and stuff. So personally, it's been really good for me, but I know a lot of people have struggled. Like a lot of people, we got locked down for a long time last year. And here in the state of Victoria, we've just come out of another lockdown, which was, it was only a few weeks, but some people kind of just rely on those cheap finds in a thrift store. So it's made it very hard for those people that do that. And there's not a lot of people that want to spend up on wholesale. Obviously, it's completely different sort of ball game again. So it has made it hard for some. For me personally, it opened my eyes, and it's made my business a much better model.
Oh yeah, I had a similar issue during the lockdown. I had to go to a lot of sourcing at pawn shops and thrift stores and things like that, but during that lockdown, they only allowed like 5 people in the store at a time, and there's like a line around the building. And so I was like, this isn't going to work for me. So I do a lot of sourcing online. I'll buy big wholesale lots for 100, 200, 500 items at once. Because when you buy stuff in bulk, you can get them for maybe, let's say you got 50 cents a piece into items, and you can get, let's say, 1,000 of them shipped to your door. And let's say your cost of goods is $400 or $500. But if you have 1,000 items and you could sell them for $10, $15, $20 a piece, let's say $10 a piece times 1,000, now you're turning your initial $400 investment into $10,000 worth of merchandise, as opposed to going to a thrift store and maybe only come home with 5 or 6 items. So I've been doing a lot of online sourcing. Let me say hello to Keith is here in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Joe, the Philly Picker is here in the chat hanging out with us. My man Richie Hustles is here. Man, Richie Hustles have been blowing up. If you guys haven't checked him out, I think he just hit 30,000 subscribers. He's a big Amazon seller. Don is in the chat. He says, do you get a lot of orders to ship to the U.S.? Does eBay have reverse global shipping for you to ship to the States? So do most of your eBay orders, are they local in Australia, or you ship all across the world?
Yeah, I'm all over the world. I always open myself up to international because I get, I'm probably averaging 1 or 2 sales a day international, and I send a lot to the States. So I have a little strategy, especially with sort of unique kind of vintage clothing and stuff. I will actually put the postage costs quite low to the United States and whatnot. So it actually doesn't cost them much for shipping, but I actually bump the initial price of the item up. And it just seems to attract people in the United States because they're getting such cheap postage. It's been a strategy that works for me. If an Aussie buys it, then bonus, they're paying, a little bit more than probably what it may be worth. But I just find they end up getting over there. I'm still getting the same money back on the item. I'm just factoring that into the item cost. But I won't ship sort of just your bread and butter stuff that's not going to go over there. I don't bother, or if it's sort of under that $25 item mark. But I do a lot of vintage T-shirts and jackets and stuff like that. Toys, I'll put them up international all the time, and I find a lot of them end up over there.
Yeah. Now, what is that stack of merchandise over your shoulder there? Are those video games? What do you got over there? Right there.
Yeah, they're just video games. That's unlisted video games.
Yeah.
So the video games I like to, I sort of set them up for days. I find video games very easy to list. I can just, as you know, photos are quick. You can get them up fairly quick and fast. So if I have a big day of where I'm out sourcing, I go out for 8 hours and then I get home and I've got to pick the little one up from daycare. That night, I try to remain consistent with my listing. So I can just grab 20 of them and bang them up within sort of half hour to an hour. and that's to keep the consistency going on eBay. That's just what I do. So I just always have them on hand. So I've always got stock to list.
Okay, what is tell people what your niche is, because I was watching some of your YouTube videos and you sell a lot of like toys. You sell like a lot of action figures. Do you sell clothing? Like, what would be your niche that you try to stick to when you're out at the thrift store?
Yeah, so the number one thing that I'm actually selling is secondhand clothing. I don't sort of show a lot of that stuff on my YouTube as much these days because I find it boring. I find it really boring picking up jeans constantly and selling them. You know, for myself, like I love nostalgia and I love sort of vintage things. So I love going out and finding those things to bring back memories for people. And that's what I show on my channel more so. And I sell them all the time, don't get me wrong. But my main thing, I'm still picking up clothes constantly. I'm wholesaling clothes constantly. But that's sort of the main thing I'm flipping on eBay. Always got clothes coming in and out. But then, yes, as I said, the sporting memorabilia is a huge one for me. I'd say that's my main niche because I have so much passion around it because I am a collector as well. And then sort of stemming from that, it's definitely the toys, vintage T-shirts, anything from the 90s. I just love the 90s, man. It's just, anything sort of retro, I'll pick it up and try and make a couple of bucks out of it.
Okay, cool. Let me say hello. We got a bunch of people in the chat today. We have the Flipping Boomer is here in the house. The ATL Flipper. Butterfly Hustles is here. Hey, Butterfly. She says, hey, Jeff. It says, hey, you changed your name. Can I ask the same question to everybody, but what is your most profitable flip? We just talked about that a little bit earlier. And can you tell people why you changed your name? I kind of like Diary of a Flipper better, but do you want to talk about why you changed your name?
Yeah, I haven't changed my name. I've been Diary of a Flipper from the start. Maybe she just thought I've changed from Brad to Judder. Judder's just my last name, so it's a nickname. Us Aussies, we love a good nickname.
Okay, do you want to tell her about your profitable flip that you had?
On the big scheme of things, it was a caravan, which was, $2,500 sort of profit. But to be more realistic, it was a Australian rules football jumper. I paid $60. I found it on Facebook Marketplace, and within a space of 12 hours, it sold for $1,900.
All right, awesome. I wanted to say hey to Jazz. We have Rescue Resellers in the chat. Philly Picker is here. Jennifer Hayes is here. Hey, Jennifer Hayes. I hope you're doing well. I heard that your daughter was sick in the hospital, so I hope that you guys are doing well. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. We always appreciate you coming by and hanging out. I wanted to say Nakoma Fines is here. Cheryl the reseller is here in the house. I wanted to say hey to Javela Flips. Annie is here. She says, hey, Jeff. Butterfly Hustles is here in the chat. And I think that's everybody. We got Joe Philly Picker is here. And it says, you got rain. It's raining here. So, yeah, it's raining here where I'm at as well. So talk to me a little bit about you got your reselling thing, and you said you have over 2,000 items listed in your store. What are like some tips or tricks you can share with our audience to help them with their eBay business that would help them make money?
Basically, make sure you're enjoying it for starters. That's the biggest thing. People sort of come to me in the past and they're like, I want to sell this, I want to sell that. And it's like, well, do you enjoy doing that? And they say, no, but it makes money. And I think if you're looking at the money sort of thing, it's the biggest killer. It's the biggest downfall. I think you've got to look at this as a lifestyle. Understand it's just a good side hustle for people for an extra couple of bucks. But I think if you are passionate about doing this and you can, get out there and be excited to be packing your parcels and excited to be listing things that you enjoy. Like, as I said, for me, like nostalgia, I can go through all those action figures I played with 25, 30 years ago and go, oh, this is awesome. This is good fun. I love it. And I think if you put a lot of focus into the passion and you're willing to continue to learn, you never stop learning. Doesn't matter how long you've done this. If you've been doing it for 50 years, you can still learn. Someone new might come in and they might teach you something that you've never heard of, But if you can just focus on your passion, the results come later. That's the thing that I sort of try to tell the people all the time. It's just focus on the things you love, because if you can be passionate, if you're focusing on money, I think it can be a very negative approach to it, because you might be too focused, and I don't think you'll ever get in front. I think you're always going to be chasing that money. But if you're focusing on your passion, then you look at your bank account and you go, well, hang on, this is making me money. I think that's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to say hey to the Aussie VH Thrifter is here. Jazz is here, and we have the disgruntled octopus is here in the house. So if you guys have a question for our guests, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, like, if someone wanted to make a full-time income on eBay, what should they be doing? Like, should they be sourcing more often? Should they be listing more items? Like, what are like the big key things that's going to help somebody make a full-time income? Let's say they're doing it part-time right now, and maybe they're making $1,000, $2,000 a month in sales. If they want to make more money on eBay, what do they need to do? Because you were watching one of your videos, and you said you had like 64 sales going out. Not everybody has that many sales continuously. Like, what are some strategies to generate more sales on eBay?
So it's, the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. To kind of get to that point, it's taken me a long time. And since becoming full time, it's just a matter of consistency. It's, every day I'm putting 20, at one point 30 new items in my store, where it doesn't matter what it is. And everyone has a different business model. So some people sell high volume, they might sell DVDs for $10 each, but they might be selling 100 of them a day. Every sort of model is different. But I think if you can find that consistency over a period of time, then you'll start to get the results. So I think balance is key. Balance is key when it comes to sourcing. You don't want to be sourcing flat out and not actually listing anything, because you're not actually making money in that sense. I'm huge for death piles. I love a death pile. I know that's some people are pro death pile, and I'm definitely pro death pile as long as it's managed well. And I've got like a new system with the death pile. I always make sure I've got a death pile in stock on hand, because if I go out sourcing all week and don't find a thing, I've wasted 20, 30 hours of not finding stuff, like over a few weeks sort of thing. So that can end up you have no stock and you still haven't listed. So I just make sure I have that death pile managed really well. So stuff goes in, it doesn't go to the top and then go straight back on, unless it's super high item. It'll actually go to the back. I make sure I'm always pulling the stuff. I put them in tubs of 20 items, and then that tub is what I'm listing this day. So that way, that consistent flow of stock coming in and out, I think it's great to have a death pile. It's a money pile. It's, people invest in stocks and things go up and down. If something's hot right now, you got this, just say this toy, everyone wants this, and everyone's paying $250 for it right now. I wish, but if they were, in 6 months' time, it's going to drop off and it's going to be worth $10 again. You get that listed obviously now, but everything else, bread and butter items that just consistently stay around the same prices, I make sure I make sure they go to the back of the pile and then they get listed one after another sort of thing. It's just, there's no sort of favoritism. I don't put stuff anymore at the bottom of the pile and have it sit there for 2 years. It's just, I consistently put it up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on a team death pile as well. Like you said, you may go out to the thrift store and sometimes you come home empty-handed. Sometimes you go there and you find 3 items, 4 or 5 items, find 2 items, and you come home and it's like, well, I found 2 items and I'm going to make $50 on these 2 items. Now what? Because maybe you need to make, you need to have more inventory than that to list. And if you have inventory on hand, you're like, okay, well, I'm good. I still have a pile of items here that I can list consistently. So that way I don't have a big gap and not have any items to list. So I'm with you on that. And it's funny, I was thinking about that, the same thing. I was looking at a lot of other YouTube channels that are talking about finances and stock market, and it's like they'll have 100,000 people tune in to talk about stocks, but we talk about reselling, which is when you're buying a stock, a lot of people are buying stocks at a low price and reselling them at a higher price. We do a similar thing on eBay, and it's like, oh, I have to take photos and list items and ship it. And I'm like, yeah, but you're turning $2 into $50 with the stock market. Are you getting that same type of return? No, they just don't want to do the work. I think they just, I just think they just don't want to put the work in, because it's not as easy as it looks like on some of these YouTube videos. Like when you say, hey, I've sold 60 items, you're like, you've had to build up your store over a long period of time. You've had to take photos. You've had to do like the marketing. You've had to do the shipping. You had to do the listing. Like there's some stuff that goes on behind the scenes besides just hearing ka-ching every time you make a sale, right?
Yeah, that's 100%. And it's like, for me, making videos and stuff, I want the videos to be entertaining. I want people to see the fun stuff. But realistically, behind the scenes, they don't see the I'm not doing your 8 hour days. Some days I'm doing 16-hour days. But the difference is, I enjoy it. But there's so much work that goes into it. It's not a matter of I got this and I'm getting this money for it. Like you said, yeah, there's a lot of work behind the scenes, and you got to be willing to put the work in. If you want to do this as a full-time gig, you got to work your ass off. And it's like if you start any business, if you want to be an electrician by trade and you want to start a business, you got to learn the trade for starters. You got to become experienced in it. Then you've got to have the social skills to get the work. It's not just a matter of go out and wire up someone's PowerPoint. You got to find that PowerPoint to wire up. It's the same with any business. You don't start it within the space of 6 hours. It takes years to get to where you are. You got to do an apprenticeship for 4 years. So it's where I'm at now. Like I've only been doing this for sort of 3 years. So essentially, I'm still an apprentice. It's just the way it is. There's a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah, awesome. We got a question here from the ATL Flipper. He says, "What is the best thing you love about reselling?" So I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead. Tell me what's your best thing you love about reselling the most.
Now, being a full timer, it's 100%, lifestyle, family. I see my boy more, get to hang out with my wife more. It's the best thing, but more on the reselling thing, I think it's that the nostalgia vibes. As I said, I love nostalgia. You go into a thrift store and that, you get the butterflies in your tummy when you find something that's worth a couple of bucks or it brings back memories. And I love that. I love the whole memory side of things and nostalgia. And then being able to, if it's not something that I'd keep for myself, pass it on to a collector that's going to love it. It's going to go into it because I love collectors. I love collections. I'm a collector of many things myself. And if I know I've picked this up, once again, the Ninja Turtle's back out, and he's going to someone that really needs him, that's really going to appreciate it. Like that's just like that. That gives me the tingles in the belly too. I love that.
Yeah, I think probably my favorite thing about reselling is that you're kind of your own boss, and you can, instead of having to work a regular 9 to 5 job and you have to work a 10-12 hour shift, you have more free time. I love having the flexibility to be able to, if I wanted to work at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning and list items, and I can work from home and be in my pajamas and list items from home, I can do that. I don't have to report to a boss and punch a time clock. Also, I love the negotiation. So if you're at a thrift store, yard sale, pawn shop, or whatever, you can negotiate the price of everything. It's negotiable. And a lot of the items that I put on my eBay store are negotiable. So I'll have, let's say, a video game for $20, but if you offer me 18, 9 times out of 10, I'll probably take it because I've got maybe 50 cents or $1 tied up in it. And I want to hurry up and move that item and have that money and reinvest it into something else. So that's great as well. So, and the treasure hunt is fun as well. So I wanted to say hey to the Aussie thrifter, the Aussie VHS thrifter is in the house. I made a video talking about how you can make a bunch of money selling VHS tapes. No one believes me, but especially if you find them new, sealed in the plastic, I would always pick those up. So Fernando says,
do you know Robbie? Have you ever watched Robbie's videos?
I haven't, but I was just saying that I definitely tell people all the time that you can make money on VHS, even blank VHS tapes. You can make money selling those. But we have Fernando is in the house, says, any outdoor flea markets in your area that you would consider? So in Australia, do you guys have outdoor flea markets there or no?
Yeah, we do. I know, well, Robbie, VHS Thrifter, he does really well at the markets where he is. He's about a 3-hour flight from me, though. We have them here, and I don't go often because my local one is COVID's killed it. There's some sort of half-hour to an hour drive. I will eventually clear some stock at one of these. I'm going to have a go at it. But I don't go there enough because, for the drive, I'm only getting a few things here and there. Most of our markets, they're selling fruit and veg. It's a lot of, small businesses making earrings and things like that to make their own profits. So there's not where I am personally. There's heaps in Australia, but just where I am personally, I don't have a lot of that.
Yeah, cool. Keith says one of the best things is working for yourself. That's definitely true. So talk to me a little bit about your YouTube channel. So people come by, check you out, your YouTube channel. Tell them what they're going to find on your YouTube channel.
Oh, mate, you can find all sorts of stuff on my YouTube channel. I'll give you a quick warning. I swear a lot. I drink a lot of beer. I just try to have fun with it. And I'm not there to tell you how to resell. I'm not there to tell you how to run a business. I don't want to do that with my channel. I just want to be there, track my journey, and hopefully entertain. So I try to kind of take the seriousness away from kind of having a reselling YouTube channel, I guess. I just get on there and, have some fun. I'll go out thrifting, see what I can get. If I can get a stupid costume that I can dress up in, I'll dress up in it, and then that way I can show nostalgia. I can go out and I can find these cool treasures. I can find the toys. I can find stuff that is worth money. So to me, my main priority is I hope I can entertain people. Some people don't like that, and that's fine. I totally understand. It is what it is. But if I can also help educate in some way, then even better. Like I know I've had a lot of people say that they have learned a lot just from me being a goose, and I think from me doing that, people sort of seem to take it in because they go, I remember this idiot doing this and taking his clothes off on a jeans video and this and that, and and they kind of take it in a bit more. So be warned, if you do come over, if you are new, I appreciate it, but there's a little bit of swearing, so maybe keep the kiddies out of the room when you're watching.
All right, awesome. So tell everybody where they can come by and check you out on YouTube and Instagram. I have your links down below, but let them know where they can come by and check you out.
Yeah, so it's at Diary of a Flipper on YouTube, and I'm also on Instagram. I am on TikTok, but I haven't done TikTok for a while. I found there's a very big stigma around resellers, especially here in Australia, on TikTok. So there's I was getting pushed to a lot of uneducated people that they just see us as scumbags because essentially resellers, they're scumbags. They're making money from thrift stores. So a lot of those people with that mentality were finding my thing, and I was getting trolled hardcore from TikTok. So I've actually slowed down on that a bit. I am going to put more content on there, but I'm on Instagram. If you do want to contact me, I'm very reachable on Instagram. I'm on there every day, and I'm putting out a video on YouTube at least once a week, sometimes two. I'll have another video up after this. So that's where you can find me.
Okay, awesome. Now, do you have any other tips or tricks or some advice that you could give our audience before we let you go to help them make money being a full-time reseller?
I think it's just, as I said, and back to sort of the whole passion thing, if you can find a niche, try and find 2 or 3, even 4 niches, rather than trying to just go out guns a-blazing and grab everything. Really focus on that niche. If you love video gaming, if you love everything about video games, study it, research. As I said, you're never going to stop learning. Whether you're following YouTubers, where you're looking at sold comps on eBay, just get hard into it. Just keep studying, keep learning. It's never going to end. You're never going to stop learning. And if you sort of get into that mindset where you think you're an expert and you think you know everything, then that's when things will start to go backwards. And I've fallen into that trap too. I have those special niches where I think, I know so much, like I don't need to learn anything else. And then someone comes along and says something, and then I go, holy shit, I didn't know that. So it's
Right.
just, never stop learning. Never stop learning.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's always new niches of things that you've never seen or heard of that you can always resell and make a good profit on. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your day to hang out with me, man. And hopefully we'll have you back on again sometime. Go ahead and give us your final thoughts, and then we'll let you go.
I appreciate you having me, Jeff. It's been good to have a chat. But, come on over, say good day if you want to. And we might try and work our times out, Jeff. We might be able to get you. We have a Sunday show as well. So it's a solo channel, The Wide World of Reselling, with myself, Brad from 2 Aussie Thrifters, Drew, Look Mum, I'm Hustling. The Aussie VHS Thrifter was a part of it. He can't get on there at the minute because of work commitments. So maybe we can get you on there one day. We do
that's cool. I was the 2 Aussie Thrifters. Yeah, those are some of the people I've been trying to reach out to and get them on my channel. So you know how it is, man. Always trying to get the time scheduling is back and forth. But anyways, you guys get a chance, go check them out. Diary of a Flipper. I have all his links down below for YouTube and Instagram. Go by and check them out, and you can tell them Jeff said hello, and tell them EbayAddicts sent you. You guys have a great one. I will see you guys tomorrow. I think I have the Freeway Flippers will be on tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern, so I'll see you then. You guys have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, mate.